Okay, what to do if your horse likes to duck off. So the owners, this is Mortis. He's 15. He's won a bajillion dollars with NFR Cowgirl Jackie Jatzlau. He came to us a little bit underfed, so we're excited to have him here. I'm obsessed with Mortis because Baby Flo likes him. I like to pony off of him. And I've taken him to a million clinics where people that have never even run barrels before have made successful runs on him. So we think that Mortis is made of gold. The previous owner and the owner previous to that one said that this horse ducked off at the second barrel, and I know a lot of you guys have wanted answers to these questions about horses ducking. So I'm going to work him on some drills for ducking, and you guys can apply this to whatever barrel your horse may be ducking at. Basically, we give our horses a tell. Think of it like poker. If you had a really great hand, you've got little twitches that sometimes you make when you are going to show that you have a great hand or a bad hand. And the horse knows our tells. So like people that think that their horse knows their name when they go in the alleyway, it's simple. The horse can feel your patterns right before you go in and know that the run's about to happen. So they think that the horse knows their name. Similar to this right here, going across the pen, this is a horse that a lot of amateur riders have ridden because he has won so much and he is so honest. And a lot of amateur riders make the same mistakes across the pen. When they do that, it will cue this horse to do something where he thinks he's doing the right thing by turning, not necessarily being bad. So we're going to show him how to be really clear about getting across the pen. Plus I'm going to work on keeping my shoulders really square and straight across the pen because I may make one of those mistakes when I run him tonight, but I'll be sure to clue you in on all that footage. But the main thing you want to do is on a ducking horse is not pick them up and try to move them way over across the pen. That's a good way to get yourself in a jam. Plus you lose all your strength when your hand crosses over the horse's neck. So we want to be really straight and clear going across the pen so we make sure that we're telling him the exact thing that we want, which is run really hard till you get to this point and then turn the barrel. So let's work him. I'm going to show you the drill that we're going to do for that. I'm going to go through and just assess what I think this may be. So I'm going to ask him to go through here at a really low rate of speed, just at a walk, stop and back him up, and just get him back in the routine of being in my program and what I expect from him. The whole time I'm doing this, I'm going to feel how his front end feels in comparison to his back end. I'm going to feel if he's really cheaty anywhere, how his leads are. So that's why I'm asking him to do kind of that windows and walls drill over to the second. And I'm asking him to go around this barrel, and you can see his hind end just flinging out everywhere. So take note, this is a simple drill right here embedded in another drill to just come out and do an invisible figure 8 and go right back to what you were doing. And it'll just help this horse engage his hind end all the way around. If I feel something getting better over here, I will let him go on to the next barrel without asking for perfection. So I'm going to do it again here at the third barrel, make him really drive up into the turn. I feel like a horse that ducks has got a weakness somewhere. It doesn't have anything to do with that barrel. It has something to do with the signal I'm giving that horse or a signal some. Okay, so right here I'm in the diagnostic phase of this episode. So what I'm trying to do is just go up here and feel some holes. What I'm trying to see is my horse too bent or is he balanced around this turn? Are his legs getting tangled up when he's leaving here so that I'm not able to actually have him propel off this barrel? And that's what's causing the problem. So when you see I counter arc leaving this barrel and really over exaggerate, that's what I'm trying to do to see what exactly is happening right there. Now I'm really aggressive at doing the windows to the walls because I want to see him get to this wall and settle in. Now, Mortis is a really, really spooky horse, even though he's got some age on him. So if your horse is like this, you can really see what he's doing. The third barrel is fine, but the second barrel, he acts almost totally afraid of it. So that's something that we won't even address. I'm just going to let him go by this barrel and start to use himself. Now, to take the fear out of it and to make it not really barrel related, I'm going to go straight across the pen, back from the first barrel, give him a little break, pet him, go on to this third barrel. And as you can see, I'm not being picky about leads. He is not doing the right thing with his feet right now, but I'm still trying to figure out what it is that's making him want to duck. I'm able to make him work really smooth and fluid and easy, so finding these holes is kind of tough, but I'm going to go through and practice several different ways across here. Now, he went across there straight and actually committed without hollowing his back out across to the second barrel, so that's a good spot for me to actually let him go around the barrel. And letting him go around the barrel is a release. That's a place for him to like relax and feel like it's okay to get here. Now, what I'm feeling around this barrel is a lot of weakness on his hind end. You can see his hind end almost looks
looks like it's lame because he's stepping behind and out and around himself so much. He's not gathering up his hind end and using his body. He's spread way out. So I'm making him slow way down and letting him settle into this turn. He's going to settle in right here until he feels really balanced around the barrel. I'm going to reach down and pet him, give him a little bit of just reassurance he's doing everything right. And now I'm going to back him up a little bit closer to this barrel. So not so far away from it, just right here where I can get in close. This barrel felt a lot better, so I'm going to reward him big time so that we're building that confidence a ton. Now I'm going to come back and just be really casual about how I'm going to do everything, trying not to over crank his head to the right, just let him feel everything. This felt beautiful, and I was able to just pick him up. Now what he felt like was really scotchy and stally right there, so I made a dramatic move to move up the wall. I won't find out until later on the exact diagnosis, but just so you guys know, I definitely figured it out. But right here is where I'm feeling like he runs up that wall and just kind of hesitates. So what I'm doing is I'm having my intern girl move this barrel up about 25 feet so that he has to work a lot harder to get across the pin. It's not just a straight move.
So after I did the windows and walls drill, or a modified version of that, I still felt him be a little bit ducky. Now this is his first day back at the ranch, so I expected a little bit of that. What I had our experienced girl do was move that barrel about 25 feet up the fence. So it's a lot harder for him to have to get to that barrel. Easier for him to duck. Why would I want to do that? Well, I want the hard thing, or the wrong thing to be really hard, the right thing to be really easy. So it's going to be harder for him to turn that barrel, switch leads faster, and work his way diagonally across the pin than to just lazily run across there straight. So I'm going to work him like that so that tonight when he runs across straight at the jackpot, we have a better chance. Doesn't mean that he won't duck tonight. It just means that I've increased my odds of making him do the right thing.
Okay, let's put his feet to work. Really and truly what we're doing is going to put his mind to work. So what's harder than just going over there and turning the second barrel? Focusing on leads all the way around the arena and messing up this pattern in his mind so he's no longer able to predict my next move. I'm coming in here overarching, leaving the first barrel. When I come up to the second barrel, I'm just asking him to counter arc and what they call counter canter. So I'm asking him to be arched on one. It's really hard to explain, but I want him to maintain his lead with his head to the outside while maintaining his lead on the inside. So I'm doing that around. It's very hard for a horse to do. I can do another webisode for you guys on this, but it's something that Western pleasure people do all the time, reining horse people that build up their horse's strength on one side or the other. So I'm going to ask him to do that all the time. Then I may just go up, turn this barrel, and may go back around the arena. He just doesn't know what's coming next. And that's what we want, because we want to take the predictability out of this so he can no longer be in this new pattern that he's created himself. So what I felt going across here was this weakness in the leads, front and back. I felt him crossfiring all over the place. So I'm going to ask him to do some really fast lead changes all the way across the arena until I get him to really feel a little bit more secure changing leads. What I'm feeling now is that I'm going across here asking a horse to change leads, and at 15 years old and he's won over $250,000, he's literally forgotten how to do that. A lot of us can.
After doing that small drill, I think I pinpointed it down to Mortis switching to his left lead and then just making a turn. If I keep him on his right lead, he seems to stay really nice and straight. When he switches on his left lead, his win stuff starts to happen. So I'm going to go through with teaching him how to strategically change his leads. Okay, so now we're going to reverse engineer. I feel like this horse is weak in his hind end as far as muscle, and I feel like his lead changes need a lot of work. So instead of focusing on the barrel pattern, I'm going to try to be 1% better at the things that I feel like he's weakest at. He is 15 years old. He has a lot of muscle that he could develop over his hind end. You can see that his butt's kind of slopey and pretty jello-y. Daniel has not approved of this rump, okay? This is not a Daniel approved buttocks. We gotta work on those glutes. So Stormy and Carly are gonna help work on backing this horse up a lot for me this week. The other thing that I'm gonna work on as we tag team are lead changes in between two barrels as far as figure eighting. And then we're gonna work on going around this barrel, turning the opposite way, go around it, go the opposite way, go around it, go the opposite way, because that's gonna help him engage his back end. I expect for this horse to experience a little bit of soreness, so we're gonna body flow with my vibration therapy system every single day for 20 minutes. Because he does have some age on him, he's way out of shape. That's something that we're gonna focus on for sure.
Okay, let's get to these lead change drills. So I'm dreaming this up as I go just because I've done this for so long and I have a lot of tools in my arsenal to work on a horse that struggles with lead change across the pen. And I typically would not pick on a colt for this. I'm going to pick on him because he's got an issue that we're working through. But if this were a colt, I'd let them figure it out on their own. They seem to learn faster and recover faster when they have a little slip and fall when they learn this on their own. So I'm asking him to depart across the pen. If he does not immediately pick up his lead, I'm asking him to stop, back up, and go forward. We're giving him one choice instead of 15. I've learned from taking lessons this week and last week that we are being a little bit too forgiving on what we're asking from our horses, and that we need to say, nope, that's not going to work today. So even if it's just a little bit out of sorts, we need to stop, start over, and re-go, and let this horse know that it's got consequences for its actions. So we're going over here, asking him for a right-hand turn. Then I'm breaking him down to a trot, asking him for a lead change. This is second grade stuff that this horse should be able to get really, really easily. And you guys can see it's unedited, it's raw. He is really having a hard time putting it all together again. So his mind has just been thinking about a lot of other stuff, and he has not been thinking about just the basics, which we can get caught up in all the time with our riding. Just the simplest of things like, have you taken up your stirrups? Have you grabbed your saddle horn at the right place? Have you gone back to two hands too fast? It's the same thing. So don't get super frustrated with these horses. Just remember, you've got to start by being 1% better. So here, entering this horse up just because he's 15 and ripping him through 15 runs is not going to get you anywhere if this right here isn't correct. So we need to go through and just start to break this down and go, hey buddy, I need you to remember all the things that you used to do back in the day. You've got this. This is simple, simple, simple. And let him know that I've been very clear. Typically, this is going to happen from a horse that's been ridden by somebody that has overtrained with more complex things like draw reins and martingales and spurs and all sorts of things at a really high rate of speed, when this horse really just needs you to go back through and go, okay, I'm going to give you a refresher course for about 5 minutes. And then when we go back through, I'm going to expect a lot more from you because you are an aged horse. So watch as I go through. He'll get a little bit stronger. When he does, I allow him to go on. His reward is to get to the third barrel, which is really, really cool. And he understands that.
So your worksheet for today's course is to write down the 3 weaknesses that you feel are the target of your horse's ducking, or your horse being a little bit less strong than he needs to be physically. Write those 3 things down, and then let's refocus this week's goals to work on those 3 things specifically.
Okay, so now I'm going to go through and add some speed, and you're going to see as soon as I touch my right rein to ask him to be guided across the pen, it's devastation. So I figured it out. If I touch his right rein coming out of this barrel, that's his call sign to go the wrong direction. I'm going to use 2 hands and counter arc him on the back side of the barrel. It's really tricky for my riding, but if I can do this consistently just to make him 1% better every single time, I'm going to have a horse that's really solid. Okay, so I swapped out my helmet for a cap, and I am putting Stormy on Mortis so that we can feel if what I'm doing is correct, because I want to make sure I help you guys. So I want to see somebody go through on Mortis, and I'm going to tell her what I think is the wrong thing. So what we're hoping for is that I pinpoint it down until I find the wrong thing, and as soon as she touches this button, he will duck, if I've gotten it right. So let's see how it goes. Please make my horse duck off.
I'll try
So
my
when you
hardest.
turn the first barrel, I want you to pull on this right rein like you have no other option to get him over.
I feel like you're setting me up for failure.
I am. I hope so. I hope this is what we have to do. So a lot of times we want to make it so perfect that we're too scared to allow the horse to make a flaw, and that's where you really get in a bind with your training. So don't be afraid to let somebody jump on, or even you do it. Now bump him with that right rein. Perfect. So I think I've gotten it right. Okay, now I'm going to tell her the right thing to do. So now I want you to go up, turn this first barrel with 2 hands from the outside, and I want you to side pass him, like counter arc him over, leaving this barrel. Stay 2-handed around it for a while. Now, counter arc, you got to do it a little sooner. Go back again. Cool. Now counter arc now. That's how I want you to leave this barrel. Okay, make another run. Let's see what happens. But you got to stay two-handed, so that's the fun part. Stay two-handed and counter arc on the backside. 1% every day means that we won't have to do this forever. But if I think I've gotten this localized down to the wrong thing, too many people pulling on him on the backside of the barrel, then I think we've got it right. Again, I've set her up to fail, but I have an inkling as to what may make this correct. Stay two-handed. Now counter arc. Nice. Boom. It's like I know what I'm doing or something. How fun. Nice. Okay, love that. Love that. How'd that feel?
I didn't really feel like he offered to duck.
Okay, awesome. So it's just a rein tension thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so now we'll work on that right rein and re-teaching him what that right rein
Whoever
is.
trained him like did that with them, or
Probably
learn
really
how to-
over counter-arced, or whoever kind of scared him because he has a horse that's kind of scared on the ground. Probably not intentional at all. Somebody used their right rein to try to steer him over instead of squaring up and just letting him go straight. This is hard for a horse to run sideways, and that's essentially what you're asking him to do when you over pull. So it was a good day at the office.
Was that not the coolest thing ever to watch? You can see the whole diagnostic process. Now you guys can take those things. You can see how many things I went through to get to the point where I knew exactly in a run what was making this horse duck. So now you can do it on your horses, even if it's not a ducking thing. Maybe it's just shouldering or running by a barrel. You can reverse engineer and figure out exactly the drills that you need to work on. And I showed you several different drills in here for you to work on. In episode 2 of this ducking course, I'm going to show you guys Mortis tonight at the barrel race. So enjoy.